quiz, and not yesterday in this case, is last week, Friday's quiz. And it was a long quiz, and we have here, I think it's 11, right, 11 answers, because the whole quiz was 22 questions. But it's kind of simple. It's just a matter of selecting the multiple choice, yes, no, or, and the other one, the last one, is to select the right symbol, the right inequality symbol. So it's not, the quiz was not too hard. Multiple choice, we have most of the answers here. It's very straightforward. You have to plug in the answers, the points, into the inequalities and find if it is a solution, yes, or if it's not a solution, no. Don't bother to submit quizzes when you don't reply any of the questions, or you reply a couple of questions to have only 1 point or half point. This is not going to help your grade. Take advantage of it. You have 50% of your grade here. The other 50% you can figure it out. You can try to work. You can try to complete by yourself, and I can guarantee if you put a little bit of effort, you will have more than 50%. More than 50% of the grade on every quiz. Guaranteed. And okay, this is, you take a picture or a screenshot, and now we will move to the topic of today's class. Quick review about last week. We talked last week on Thursday and Friday mostly about graphing linear inequalities, and we worked on a couple of examples on Thursday and a couple of examples that are special cases on Friday, using this procedure here, this step-by-step. Step number 1, solve for y, if possible. Step number 2, graph the related equation. And step 3, shade above or below the line according to the inequality. This is the step-by-step, pretty simple. And we will need this procedure today as well. So keep in mind, keep it here at hand, because we will need. Today we will work on compound linear inequalities. We will operate union and intersection of inequalities. Some applications require us to find the union or intersection of the solution sets of 2 or more inequalities. We will work here on the quiz. I will show you an example of how to operate union or an intersection of 2 inequalities. Okay? Remember, this is from previous grades, previous math grades. What is union? What is intersection? If you have set A and set B, the union, representing here as these diagrams, the union is going to be the whole thing, right? The whole A and B, the whole blue thing. This is the union. And the word, this is what is different and important. The word that usually represents union in math is the word or. Every time you see the word or in a math question, usually it's going to mean union. The next thing, intersection. Remember from the past, what is intersection? If you have set A and set B, the intersection is the set that is common to both A and B. And this is represented using the diagram by the red area. This red area, that's the area common to A and B. The word that we use for intersection in math is the word and. So when you read the question, you see the word and, usually it's going to mean intersection. So next slide is a funny slide to help you remember union and intersection. And then the first one is union, is or, right? If you have the face with hair or the face with beard, then you're gonna have the face with hair plus beards, all together. This is union, and the word is or. If you have the face with hair, intersection with the face with beard, and the word is and, that means you're gonna have only, as a result, you're gonna have only the face. The face is the only thing in common. The hair is not, there's no thing in common with the beards, so the only thing in common is the face, and this is intersection. This is just a funny slide to help you remember the concept of union and intersection. Okay, moving on. Now let's work on an example. We will graph a compound inequality, which is the solution set of this compound inequality here. Let me know if you have any complaint, any questions, any comments, anything that's that I'm doing you're not understanding. Type here in the chat box. Okay, don't let me go too fast if you're not understanding something. So we will work by hand to find out the compound inequality, the solution for this compound inequality here. The first thing, let's identify the inequalities. Let's say we have this inequality here, and we're going to call this inequality number 1. This is going to be inequality number 1. Yeah, this is inequality number 1. And the next one, the second, is this here, which we're going to call inequality number 2. Okay? The compound that we're working, the operation that we're working is AND. And AND, if you remember, is intersection, right? Remember, AND is intersection. So we will work on the intersection between inequality 1 and inequality number 2. Let's split the screen here in two. We're going to use the left side for inequality number 1, the right hand side for inequality number 2. We will work this step by step. Let's remember here in the procedure, the step by step. Step number 1, solve for y. Step number 2, graph the related equation. And step number 3, shade above or below the line. Let's apply this step by step. First to inequality number 1, y greater than 1 over 2 x plus 1. First step, solve for y. This first step means you're gonna let only the y variable on the left hand side of the equation, and everything else is gonna move to the right hand side. And if you look at the inequality, you're gonna say we don't need to do anything. It's already done. It's ready. It's solved for y. Let's move to the next step. Step number 2, graph the related equation. The related equation is this one: y equals 1 over 2 x plus 1. This is the related equation. Okay. This is what we need to graph. To be able to graph the related equation, we have to identify slope m equals 1 over 2, and we have to identify y-intercept. Y-intercept is b, positive 1. Now we are ready. The next step here, we will just wait a little bit because we're going to work on the inequality number 2 first. We are ready to graph the related equation. Inequality number 2. Let's find here number 2, x plus y less than 1. We have to solve for y. So move everything that's not y, this x here, we're going to move to the right hand side of the inequality. And to do this, we need to change the sign. So positive x, if you move to the right hand side of the inequality, becomes a negative x. plus 1. And the next step is to draw the related equation. The related equation is y equals negative x plus 1. This is the related equation that you have to draw, I have to graph. M is negative 1 and b equals positive 1. Okay, this is m, negative 1, and this is b. Let's write m as negative 1 over 1. So we remember this is rise over 1. Okay, let's write like this so we can remember to graph rise over 1. And the next step here, let's use the graph to draw the inequality number 1. And again, this might look a little bit overwhelming, a little bit too much, a lot of work. Don't get scared. Don't give up. Don't give up. Stay here with me. Stay here working with me, because later we're gonna practice and we will be able to use the graphing calculator. It's a bit easier. But I need to show you how to do this by hand. Okay? It is possible. It's a little bit overwhelming. It's a little bit a lot of things to do, but it's possible. First thing, the inequality number 1. Draw the y-intercept. B is positive 1. The y-intercept positive 1 here. And the next point, we're going to use the slope to find out the next point. Run is 2. So this is run. Okay. And rise is 1. This is rise. That means the other point that we're going to use to find the line is this. Connect the dots. Connect the points, connect the dots. Let me just... Connect the dots. And I have the first line, the first the graph of the related equation for the inequality number 1. Okay, let me just get rid of this because I'm gonna work on the inequality number 2. For inequality number 2, we have b is just a coincidence, it's the same one. By coincidence, we're gonna have b here as well. The y-intercept, positive 1, and slope, negative 1 over 1. Run is 1, run, and rise is not rising, it's going down. It's falling, right? But negative rise is this, is 1. That means the second point we're gonna have is right here. Connect the dots and find the line. Ufa, we have now 2 lines. And the last step is to shade the areas. Let's shade the areas. The area for inequality number 1. Let's see, check again the inequality number 1. Oops. Let's check here again inequality number 1. Check this out. The inequality number 1 is y is greater than, right? It doesn't have an equal sign. If it doesn't have an equal sign, you're going to draw the line as a dashed line, like this. Dashed line. Because it doesn't have the equal sign, it's going to be a dashed line. And y is greater than something. When the inequality is y greater than something, you will shade everything above the line, This is what we will shade. Let me just do it slightly different. Yes, this is what you shade above the line. And now the next one, inequality number 2. Inequality number 2 is this. Y is, y is less than, y is less than. Doesn't have an equal sign, that means again it's dashed. The line is going to be dashed because doesn't have an equal sign. Line dashed, dashed line, dashed line, dashed line. And the shade is going to be, if this y is less than, the shade is below the line. So the shade is here, below the line. See? This is the shade below the line. Where is going to be the intersection? Don't give up, don't give up. Keep here with me. Where is going to be the intersection? The intersection is the area that belongs to both inequalities, that has both colors, blue and red. The area here that have both colors, blue and red, is going to be this one. This is the area, I'm using purple, the area that have both colors, blue and red, and is the intersection between the inequalities. That's right, it will. I will erase here this blue shade and the red shade so you can see a bit better. So erase, okay. See, this is the result. This is the intersection between inequality x, y greater than 1 over 2x plus 1 and x plus y less than 1. This is the results. Let me show. This is kind of overwhelming, right? A lot of work. Let me show the same picture from the book, because it's a bit nicer and neat and clear. See here, this is the picture from the book. Much nicer than mine, but it's the same thing, the same result. Compare with mine, and mine is kind of messy, but it's the same result. And I'm showing because it is important for you to learn how to draw these things, how to do these things by hand. It's important because eventually in your tests, in your, I mentioned here SATs, PSATs, PERT, FSAs, sometimes you don't have a graphing calculator or you're not allowed to use a graphing calculator. But if you know how to work this out in the graphing calculator, you can practice by hand. And later you're gonna also be able, in a few tests, you're gonna be able to use a graphing calculator. And doing this thing using graphic calculator is much easier, much easier, less overwhelming. Any questions, any specific questions, any specific step that you didn't understand, anything that I drew, that I wrote, that you didn't understand, let me know. If you have any question, any comment, any complaint, anything at all, type here in the chat. If there are no questions, we can move, we can practice on the quiz. But you still can ask me questions, we can work together on the quiz. We're gonna learn this kind of thing practicing, and we have a good chance to practice on the quiz. No questions, I don't see any questions. Let's move to the quiz, but first we have this. What is going to be the answer? You will know the answer already. If you have an answer, if you have a guess, type it now. Send me a message. What number do the letter T stands for? T1 plus T1P plus P1T equals 9P9. It looks like tip plus pit equals 9P9. So send now your messages. What do you think is the right answer? So check this out. This is how you solve it. You're gonna have P plus T equals 9. You're gonna find out by the second column that 1 plus 1 equals P, P equals 2. That means the answer for the spell work is t equals 7. 7 is the right answer. So example here, or let us see. 2x type 2x plus y less or equal than 5. And enter. And the next one is x greater or equal than 3. Enter. Okay. This is how the graph is going to look like. Make sure you have on the x-axis, you have 10 here on the top, negative 10 here on the bottom, and on the x-axis 10 here and negative 10. So you can compare with the options. It's easier to compare with the options. Adjust the settings by zoom in, zoom out, and moving a little bit. And this is the graph. Let's compare with the options that we have. Looks a little bit with 8. Let's check again here. It looks like 8 is the right answer. See? Compare. Yeah, this C is going to be 8. And C, letter C, is OR. And OR means all blue areas. It's union. All blue areas, you have to put together all blue areas because it's a union, and the answer is going to be number 8, all blue areas. Oh, that's odd. Check if you type everything right, clear. Sometimes one little mistake here on the inequality. Check those inequalities here. Sometimes one tiny mistake makes a big difference.